if you're lactose intolerant, you can't watch this movie because it's got so much cheese.
Sorry, yeah, I gotta go. You guys can do this on your own now.
Nope, end it there. You agree 100%. I'm right. I'm back, bitches.
We didn't miss you. Get out of here.
Okay, well, I'm here.
What is
No
Nick?
more guests.
Someone-
You're not safe anymore.
Nick tried, but he did not replace me. Today we are reviewing The Concrete Cowboy. This movie is about a young boy who is sent to live with his estranged father in North Philadelphia and finds himself a part of a tight-knit community who is just trying to survive in a concrete jungle of Philadelphia.
That was very eloquent, Joe. Did you write
Thank
that?
you. I did actually write that 30 seconds ago. It was directed and written by Ricky Staub, starring Idris Elba, Lorraine Toussaint, and Caleb McLaughlin. Let's get straight into our first reactions. Kev, why don't you take us away?
Wow, I feel like I haven't started first reactions in like a long time, and like I don't know what to do with myself.
Your first.
His
Huh?
first time.
That's right. Yeah. Huh? What are we talking about? I thought it was good. I thought it was. I thought it got better towards the end. Like the beginning, I was like kind of like, this is okay. But then once I got to the point, and it got a little more exciting. I thought it was really good. And then obviously we don't want to spoil stuff, but it kind of closes out nicely and the kind of the things they touch on. So I thought it was really good. I thought it was an interesting community to learn about because it is a true story. And I mean, obviously the three of us lived in Philly. We were roomies for a little bit. For anybody out there who doesn't know, yes, second floor squad. And not James. James was not part of that squad. He had to live in the penthouse above us, like we were peasants. But living in Philly, like, and I guess you don't realize that they're part of a community, but you see people on horses, like in Philly. At least I have. I don't know about you guys, but like we used to see them on our streets. They used to come down like our street, like North American and stuff.
We would drive through their horse shit on the roads.
Yeah.
There's a lot of like if you go to like festivals, like I remember going to the Italian Market Festival in South Philly, and there was a ton of people on horses, and I was like really interested. So I was like, that's like it's something I didn't expect to see. It's like people like with cowboy hats, and they're all like there's 5 people on horseback just like riding around. It's awesome,
right? And then you kind of get used to it, and you're like, wow, I guess other cities don't have people riding around on horses. But, like, you see it, but I didn't realize the, like, gravity of that community or kind of the community itself. So it was cool to learn about, and it was kind of an interesting take on, like, what do they call these stories? Like a coming-of-age story, kind of for the kids. So I thought it was good, and I thought the acting was really good. I love Idris Elba. Stranger Things kid was really good. So, yeah, it was pretty good.
Agreed. Yeah, I definitely echo the it was very good. I really I thought this movie was a very beautiful movie, and I just have a lot of respect for I really felt like I went on kind of an emotional ride because you start in a very rough place and then you kind of grow and they really there's an overarching theme in this movie of community, like Kevin said, and I want to get into that more later, but I can't echo enough that this is, in the beginning of the movie, right, this is going to tug on some heartstrings. This is a hard, there's harder situations, you know what I mean, in this movie, and but you see as the movie kind of progresses that there really is a ton of character growth, you know what I mean? There's real life situations hit the main character, Cole, you know what I mean? And you kind of sit right there with him, and you see as he kind of goes. I do think it's also a coming of age story. I think that was a very good way to put it, Kev, because he does in the beginning of the movie he's a kid, you know what I mean? But by the end of the movie you're kind of looking at him in a different light, And I thought that was it felt very natural. It felt very well spoken. It felt, and the characters were very relatable, and the logic was all there too. So that my first reaction is watch the movie. It's fucking awesome. But I'll send it over to Joey.
Okay. So I'm going to say I chose this movie not knowing anything about it other than it had some cool cover art and it was starring Idris Elba and I figured there'd be a horse in it. I didn't know it was going to actually be about cowboys. I didn't know anything about it really at all. and I was happy with it. You know, it's a really well done movie. It's really nice. The acting's great, great cast. I didn't really care about it though until the end. Like, I didn't realize it was a true story when I was watching it the whole time. Like I said, I didn't know anything about it. I struggled with it because the plot was kind of predictable. It was kind of cliche. It felt like a typical coming of age story where it's like you have this troubled kid who defies his dad, who then ends up realizing that his dad loved him all along and that he's only been doing what's best for him, and happy-go-lucky ending. So, like, I didn't really think there was too much.
I don't know if I'd call that ending happy-go-lucky, but we don't need to talk about that right now.
It has its heartwarming feeling to it, but to me, there wasn't too much depth to it in the sense of, like, uniqueness. Like, nothing was extravagant. The acting I thought was great, but the story, the plot, like, again, until I realized at the end when this was a true story, and then it really pulls you in with the, like,
let me clarify, Joe, because I think I know what you're saying. You don't think there was anything unique about the story itself, but I think there was uniqueness on how the story was told, even though it was the same story, but they tell it in this space of, like, this community that I'm sure a ton of people don't know exists. We lived there and we didn't even know it was this community. We knew that there were guys who rode horses in the city, but...
Agreed. The community itself is a very niche group. It's something that most people don't know about. I don't think really anybody, unless you are involved in it, knows about. But to me, this movie wasn't really about the group. It was about Cole, the young kid who's growing up and reconnecting with his father. Like, and from that aspect, it felt kind of traditional. So that's just where I stand.
I've got a question for you guys.
I've got an answer for you.
How many of us watched a trailer for this movie?
I did not.
Not me.
No trailers? Me either.
No
I only saw when this movie first went, I think it was in Sundance or a festival or something like that. And on Reddit, like, when it first came out, was a picture of Idris Elba on a horse in the city, and they were like, this is his new movie, and I was like, wow, I need to watch that movie. And then I found out about it was about Philly, and I was like, I need to watch this. And then I forgot about it until you texted us, and you were like, we're watching Concrete Cowboy, and I was like, oh shit, I forgot about that movie for like
you almost picked
2
this
years.
movie.
I know.
This came out in 2021. I thought this came out in...
What?
I didn't
No,
know.
it's brand new.
It's
It
new.
just came out a couple weeks ago from when we started recording this.
Oh, when did it come out in the festivals? Do you know? Do you have
The
that
festivals are
information
usually-
on it? A year before?
A year before, yeah, because they get picked up from festivals typically.
Okay, that makes sense then.
But I don't know with 2020 if it maybe came out the festival before in 2019 and it just been sitting. But that was the other thing. I did like that it was actually shot in Philadelphia. It felt like Philly. I was like, oh, these actually look like Philly streets. It wasn't like In the Shadow of the Moon where it just felt like a cliche city that could be Philly, but it's probably not.
It looked more like Chicago. Like Shadow of the Moon looked more like Chicago than it did Philly.
Yeah, no, this literally was
Philly, like North
that
Philadelphia.
was Strawberry Mansions, yeah, for sure.
I was what's it called? I was talking. That's like one of the first comments I watched. So I watched the first half of this movie with my girlfriend Alex, and she one of the first comments, like I thought it as well, but like she said out loud, she's like, that literally looks like Philly. Like this very much, because a lot of times like movies, especially that are set in Philadelphia, they'll use like these huge panning shots of like the art museum or like Boathouse Row or like
In the Shadow of the Moon did that on steroids.
Yeah, but like when they actually get to like the city streets, like you don't see like an Italian deli or like whatever, you know what I mean? Like the brick buildings that you see in the Northeast all over the place, and like stuff like that like really kind of drives home the like, oh no, like you're actually like in.
Yeah, this was very authentic.
Should we test our Philly knowledge then? This is not a spoiler, but in the beginning of the movie, when she's driving him to Philly, what road was she on, do you think? I don't have the answer for this. I just thought I'd ask you guys this.
She's coming from Detroit.
Yeah,
you mean like the highways or like when she got into
probably
Philly?
76.
Let me see if I can screenshot the shot, and I'll put it in the chat. Maybe we'll table it for a little later in the podcast, so it's a little suspense. But I saw the shot. I thought it was like 611 going into the city. Because, 611 goes straight down into Broad Street. So, and she was going to North Philly, so I was like, because it didn't really look like 95.
Well, it wouldn't be.
And I didn't.
No, it wouldn't be 95 because 95 runs up to like the East Coast,
North to
so
south.
she'd be coming from the turnpike
From Detroit, right?
Yeah, potentially getting on 611. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let me
I'm
see
sure
if I
our
can
viewers
screen
are very
grab it.
interested.
You guys like
in...
traffic. You know, if you guys don't like us talking about Philly, you know what you do love? Us talking about Philly traffic.
We're now a morning show. Okay. Kev, do you want to share that before the spoilers, or are we good to break
I think
here?
we're good to break. We'll do a little tease.
Yeah, if you want to stick around and find
then,
out which street they drove into Philly on, stick around. We're gonna have a
we'll
quick...
do it right after the break.
Yes, we're gonna have a quick break from our beautiful sponsor, Anchor, and their lovely support of our podcast. We'll see you in a second.
Thanks, everyone, for watching First Reactions. If you want to check out the full conversation we had about the movie, go check out the movie podcast on our channel. We really appreciate it. Please leave a comment and a like down below. It helps us out a lot. You can also let us know what you want to see next. So, thanks again. Signing off for now.